How does it sound to make $30 to $80 an hour working from home as a Pinterest manager? I'm Emily Bales. I'm a Pinterest marketing and ads strategist, and for the past 4 years now, I've helped my clients and my students increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. And today, I want to share with you my story of how I became a Pinterest manager. And I think that this is really important because what it's going to show you is that you don't have to have special skills. You don't have to have a unique background in order to become a successful Pinterest manager. So if you've been looking for options that will allow you to work from home and maybe not just start a side hustle where you make additional income, but you really start a business that is thriving and can support your family, then this YouTube video is for you. And be sure to subscribe to my channel because I not only share how to become a Pinterest manager through different video series, but I also share lots of Pinterest marketing tips. So once you become that successful Pinterest manager, then you can also get the best tips and advice for managing your client accounts like a pro. So I want to share my story, like I mentioned, because I think that it really will help you feel confident in that you don't have to have this unique skill set or a special degree or a fancy master's, that you can do this with the skills that you have right now, right here today. So my story started in, well, kind of in 2017/2018. So going back to when I first started my job as a teacher, that was actually in 2014. So yes, I am a former elementary teacher. I taught kindergarten for 3 years, and I was actually teaching second grade when I had my first daughter. And through that 3.5 years of teaching, I learned that I really did love teaching, and I was really passionate about it. But I taught at a school that was in an urban environment, and we would actually have a school year that was 2 weeks longer than other school systems because of being in a low socioeconomic place. Our students were starting off a lot lower, so they needed really that extra time, that extra support. Plus, it was really nice for them to have that place where they could come, they were loved, they were receiving food, air conditioning during the summer, heat in the winters, some things that not all students had when they would go home, which is really sad. And so I had really built a strong relationship with my students over the years. And actually, when I taught second grade, I was having and seeing a lot of those students that I had taught in kindergarten, which was really cool and special. So once I became pregnant, I really started thinking about what I wanted my life to look like. And I knew the way that I felt when I would come home from work. I was really drained, and I just felt like I didn't have anything left to give at the end of the day. And despite having the summer off, my summer was a lot shorter because of us extending our school year. It just felt like it was not something that was going to be sustainable for me. And it's kind of hard to admit that, but it was the truth. And so I did talk to the school, and they were going to actually allow me to work part-time, which is kind of unheard of as a classroom teacher. So I was gonna work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I had a co-teacher, so there was always going to be consistency in the classroom. But there were 2 layers that came into play there. And the first one being, since I was gonna be working part-time, I was actually going to lose benefits. And then the second layer being was that with daycare, a lot of different daycares will actually require you to essentially pay for 5 days a week because you're taking a spot in their school. And so they want you to, if they, count on that money. And so I was going to essentially, once we did the math, be paying to work once we subtracted the cost of childcare. So then at that point, between feeling like, okay, is this gonna be really hard with a newborn baby, and feeling like I am in this challenging environment where it, very mentally taxing, emotionally taxing, and then also I'm gonna be paying to work. Okay, this did not make any sense. So I did make the tough decision to quit, and there was a lot that went into that decision, and I felt really guilty. And I felt sad and I felt bad, and it was because I did love my students, and I kind of felt like I was walking out on them. But at the end of the day, I had to do what was best for my family. And like I said, who can justify actually paying to work, right? That just makes no sense at all, no matter how much you love a job. So after about 8 months of adjusting to motherhood and not being in the classroom, quitting that job, it was a really strange place because I was adjusting to this new role as a mom, but then also for the first time, I didn't have a job. And so after about 8 months, I decided that I wanted to use myself in a different way. And also, my husband and I were used to living a certain lifestyle where we enjoyed taking vacations and we wanted to have money to pay a sitter if we wanted to go out. And so I started researching and looking into some different options. And I had a friend from college who said, hey, you should look into my sister-in-law's freelancing course. From there, it was all history. I took this freelancing course, and when I do something, I go all in. I am committed, and I believe I invested $597, and for a teacher, that felt like a ton of money. And I had just decided, I had promised myself, I am going to make this investment back as quickly as possible. And I will say, when you are thinking about starting a new career and becoming a Pinterest manager, taking action and being dedicated is going to be crucial to your success. And so through changing careers and starting this new venture, there was a lot of things that came into play there as far as mindset and feeling like an imposter. But I really had to think about what I had done up until that point, and I had a lot of skills as a teacher. I was very organized. I was a great communicator. There was honestly so many different things. I was good with email. I had a little bit of an eye for design, I would say. And so I was taking all these skills that I was pulling from and thinking, okay, what services could I offer? So through the freelance course, it really gives you an idea of what you could do as far as copywriting, general virtual assisting, social media management. And so I started as a general VA or virtual assistant, meaning that I was essentially doing whatever a business owner would ask me to do. That could be email inbox management, maybe even some social media management. But through that course, I also learned that a really great way to increase and scale your income is through niching down or specializing in a specific service. So from that point on, I decided that I really wanted to focus on social media management because it sounded amazing to get paid to essentially work on social media. Plus there was this layer where I felt really comfortable. I knew social media, I like social media. And let me just tell you, after a year, I was so over social media. I didn't want to like another picture. I didn't want to respond to another direct message. I was once again feeling like, okay, I'm back at square one. I was making money. It was great. It was fine and dandy. I had fully replaced my teaching income as a social media manager, but I did not like it. So I wanted to not just help other business owners, but also I wanted to like what I was doing, right? So around that time, I had a client ask me to play around with their Pinterest account. And it was funny because when I first started my business, I had this inkling or this intuition that I would really like Pinterest management because, well, it sounded fun. I had always been a Pinterest user. I was one of the OG people who got an email invite. And I just really wanted to lean into that. But I was scared because I had no idea what it meant to market on Pinterest. I couldn't even wrap my mind around how people made money through Pinterest. I'm like, don't you just go there to look at pretty pins? So through this client asking me to play around with her Pinterest account, we had this mutual agreement that I was learning on her account and she was going to pay me much less than I was charging hourly because I was learning. Through that, it was all history. I learned a lot about Pinterest marketing. I started getting my client great results, and I truly learned how much I loved the visual search engine and marketing on a platform that was really encouraging and helped business owners think about how to share their inspiration, their ideas, creativity, but also lead people into their funnels and ultimately not just increase their traffic, but like I always say, turn it into profit. So I loved that, and I decided that that was what I was gonna do. And since then, it's been really history. I have offered Pinterest management I've had my business for 5 years, but I've specifically offered Pinterest marketing and management for the past 4 years, and it is because I truly love it. So I not only offer done-for-you services now, but I also have a signature course, and my newest offer is my Pinterest Manager Academy. And I am so excited about this offer because this is something that can be really transformational and change people's lives. I am helping women or men learn how to start their own Pinterest management business. And so I'm really excited about this. And I do want to share with you, I did mention that I got my start and really learned my business foundations through this freelance course. And I love and highly recommend that course if you really just want to learn more about starting a business in some of those basics. And I am sharing my affiliate link for that course in the description of this video. But if you want to learn more about becoming a Pinterest manager, I would love for you to watch my Pinterest manager training, which is totally free, and it is also linked in this description. And so if you think it sounds like fun to get paid to play on Pinterest, work on a platform that allows you to be creative and help business owners thrive, I think this could be an amazing fit for you. And I really encourage you to dig deep and think about, what is your intuition telling you? Do you feel like this is something that you would love to do? I highly encourage you to lean into that, step into that, and listen to that inner voice that I kind of pushed aside for that first year of my business. I was more comfortable with social media management, and that's why I went that route. But I wish I would have listened to that original voice that told me that Pinterest marketing was really going to be the best service for me. And it has been totally sustainable too for my family. I know that that's something that as a freelancer, a lot of people have questions about. And if anything, I think freelancing is almost more stable in some ways than having other jobs, because instead of having one person or one employer that you are counting on, as a freelancer, you have multiple clients, and that really creates multiple streams of, revenue for your business. And so if you lose a client, then, that person is replaceable. And so not to get too far off track here, what I want to encourage you to do though, and really think about as you consider offering Pinterest management as a service, is not to get wrapped up into the imposter syndrome and thinking like, who am I to do this? I don't have anything that makes me special or unique. I didn't either. And so I definitely encourage you to watch that training. And one last thing I want to leave you with before I part ways here today, I want to share just a really quick rundown on what my days look like as I work from home as a Pinterest manager. So like I said, I do have courses now, and I do have other offers, and I offer coaching calls. However, the service-based side of my business has always been very stable, and that has never gone away. So even as I've added digital courses, that's actually increased my costs. Whereas when I was just a service-based provider, it was very, very profitable and a very low overhead cost. So that is one huge perk of being a service-based provider. So now back to what my days look like. I do have 3 girls that are at home with me. I do not have childcare. And when I'm thinking about my day, what I do is I start my day early. I do get up before my girls and I start working. I make my coffee, I open up my laptop, and I start working on client work. And I usually get about 2 or 2.5 hours of work done. So I am up early. I get up around 5 usually, and we'll work between 5 to 7:30. And then my day starts with my girls, and I make them breakfast. I get up the baby. We kind of have slow mornings. So they eat their breakfast, and then I actually do homeschool with my 5.5-year-old daughter. We actually call it mommy school. So we do some mommy school. We all get ready for the day. And then today it's a beautiful, gorgeous 80-degree day in Indiana. We went to the park for 2.5 hours. I packed their lunch. We went to the park. I got home. Everybody went down for a nap, and I'm recording this YouTube video right now. Now, there might have been some in and out in the background, and that would be my 5.5-year-old. So she knows that in the afternoon, mommy works. And I also think that I am really setting this great example for her that I'm showing her you can do anything that you want to. And so in the afternoon, I do get usually around an hour to an hour and a half of work done. And I'll even have during nap time, I'll have calls with clients or different things scheduled, because a lot of people aren't booking calls at 5 in the morning. So I do allow people to book calls with me in the afternoon. And then late afternoon, we will once again maybe play outside. Sometimes if we have some downtime, if it's raining, they'll watch a movie and I'll fold laundry. I'll get some chores done in the late afternoon. And then early evening, I start making dinner. Tuesdays, Thursdays, they have to go to dance. So we have all of the normal activities and I get to be there for all of it. And I get to choose my schedule. And then in the evenings, we have dinner. And after dinner, I will say sometimes I will take client calls, usually just for 30 minutes to an hour. And then I do a little bit more work before bed, have some wind down time, maybe watch Love is Blind. And those are my days. And the best part about it is that it's up to me what I want my days to look like. I can work as much or as little as I want. And if I wanted to have childcare, I could go that route, but I always have to go back to the heart of why I started this business. And although it sounds great to, one day want to be a millionaire, but really why I started this was because I wanted to be there for my girls. I don't have to have the most grand life or flashy things. I just want to be there for my girls, but also feel like if they want to do dance, they can do dance, even if it's expensive, which it is. If we want to take a Florida vacation, which we're leaving for tomorrow, then we can do that. So those are the things that were really important to me when I was thinking about starting a business and what I wanted my days to look like. So you got really how I got started in my story as a Pinterest manager, but also kind of a day in the life of a Pinterest manager as well. I just want to remind you that you can check out that freelance course that I first mentioned. That affiliate link is shared, and I highly recommend that because that was really how I got my start, and it was incredible. Highly recommend that course. And then as far as actually learning how to become a Pinterest manager, how to market on Pinterest, how to find clients, all of those things, you can really get that start through watching my Pinterest manager training, which is titled How to Make 5K and Beyond as a Pinterest Manager. So I hope that this story was encouraging to you and that it shows you that if I can do it, I promise anybody can do it. I'm not special, I'm not unique, I just worked my rear end off and told myself that failure is not an option. And if you have that same mentality, then I think that you could be wildly successful. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know what you think about my story and if you're interested in becoming a Pinterest manager. And I can't wait to see you next week. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and I will see you soon. Bye for now.